Good evening. Good Tuesday evening. This is Dee, and I wanted to go ahead and finish up what we started. Let me fix this. And they don't make anything easy. Anyway, I wanted to finish up what we started with on Iona and the Grail prophecy. You know, it's interesting, reading through that, the things that came up that had some commonality. I always get surprises when I'm reading some of the material. So, or I'm going, wow, that's exactly what's going on with me. Interesting with the orbs and I described the what you call it, where that sensation where your entire body tingles, which the author of this particular researcher had the same thing happen. That's known as the ecstasy. Those of you that know the truth and really seek it will likely have that happen too. So I'm not the only one that experiences that. There was, not surprisingly, a nasty innuendo made regarding that by someone. And it just shows where their mind's at. Unfortunately, they called Mary Magdalene a whore. Funny, that's the innuendo that was slung my direction. The virus and its games, unfortunately. But that, and along with a few interesting threats. When I started this journey, I contemplated all those things. And what's interesting is when I started this journey, I had no idea who I was. Zero. Just knew I was being told, "You're an angel," by Gabriel, over and over and over again, repeatedly. Yeah. So, I contemplated all the ramifications of even doing videos about the paranormal or anything like that. Because originally that's what I thought I was going to be doing, pretty much. Talking about the fact that I have angels hanging about, telepathy that I get from them, experiences I have with them, other ET races, and all kinds of things. Little did I know where this was all leading. However, I did contemplate in that time frame that I would have contact with nefarious people, and that it could likely be dangerous. And even in the codes, it was saying that what I'm doing is really dangerous, actually. The virus has done a very good job covering up the truth. And I've been doing my best to dig my way through the BS out there online to get at the real truth, so that you all will know the truth. It's been a long journey. I don't all that's not going to stop. Like I said, I opened the door. I'm not shutting it. I am who I am. I'm not going to placate. I'm not going to change who I am for anybody. That's not happening. I've said that before. That's not happening now, and it's not going to happen in the future. It is what it is. So I continue with this path that I've been on, with my awakening, finding out what the real truth is, what's really going on here, and at the same time helping you all awaken, because many of you did not know this material either, and it is earth-shattering. Everybody's been taught to look for the savior as a male. It's the biggest lie being told. If you look at my video on that vision, the 2 and the 8s, Apollyon rising, that has everything to do with that lie. It could also have a great deal. I got that vision on the 14th of February. It could have a great deal to do with the actual date that that's going to occur. Has it occurred? I'm not sure. It could be something coming up this next year. I don't know. I know all of us feel it. All of us know it. We sense it. Something big is going on. Like, well, the codes say it. The Grand Awakening 2019. It's not just my Grand Awakening. It's yours too. So, yeah, this is going to be one hell of a year. I have a feeling. So, man, has the virus done a good job at making everybody think they're expecting a male. Because when this male savior shows up, those of you that are enlightened and know what's getting ready to happen know that is the Antichrist that's going to be appearing. So we'll be able to identify that probably before anybody else. Our biggest problem is the programming everybody else is under, thinking that they're looking for a male. Oh, that's a huge job, because that programming runs a millennia. That's going to make it very difficult for those of us that really know what in the hell is going on to convince the others. And I really, to be honest, I don't know how that's going to happen. It worries me. How can we convince people that what they end up seeing is not the real thing? We got a big job ahead of us. Huge. Because most people don't know this. Most don't. And all the churches are teaching monotheism, which is a lie. There's multiple gods. They're teaching that their new savior to come is a male. It's not. Sorry, I wasn't expecting to talk about that specifically. I don't cry easily, but I worry about the heart-based souls on this planet and what will happen to them. Because they're going to cling to that male savior with all their life. And I don't think there's anything we can do about them. Unless I can come up with something, some answer, some way to hack the matrix somehow. Maybe to stop all this. One can hope. Anyway. You guys are cherished and loved beyond your wildest dreams. And any god that makes you worship them or put you in fear not to is not the real one. Like I said, I don't know how people expected to ever get the truth with all the BS. Look at all the BS I've had to dig through to get to just the fraction of knowledge that I have. Anyway, sorry. This is not hopeless. I'm just crying because it's overwhelming. The idea of what's happened. And I know where it stems from. I don't know if the names are right because everything's been tampered with. But I know where it stems from. You know, it's funny because something that, there's two things, at least two things, that I can think of that made me realize there was something very wrong with the whole Jesus story. First thing was known Luciferian Satanist, known. When they have a crowd of Christians praising Jesus, they get the most weird, wicked smile on their face. Yes, praise Jesus. It's because they know the truth. Because that male they're expecting is the bad guy. And it's who they worship. And they know the truth. So they know the trick that's been played upon the planet. They know it. I saw that bizarre, I think it was Beyonce? Or I'm not sure which one that was in a crowd and people were saying praise Jesus and that weird smile. I read people. And I'm like, there's something seriously wrong with this whole Jesus thing. When I saw that, it just confirmed what I already felt. The other thing was when people use the name Jesus when it's dealing with paranormal, and they get scared and they call on Jesus. Every entity in the area gets scared. All you have to do is listen to the EVPs. It's not just the bad ones getting scared. You know, the negative ones. The positive ones get scared too. And you have to ask yourself why. Remember, I told you all. Never stop asking why. Why do the positive ones get scared too? Why is every entity in the area paranormally get scared? Because what they're really calling upon. Because that is the thing that has everybody in fear. And that's what's coming. Unless I can do something about it. So, I want to dig into the remainder of that article I started the other day. There's a lot of truth in it. As a matter of fact, so far, 100%. So I'm going to check the chat before I get started because I'm going to go off screen. Good evening, everyone. It's great to see you all. Miss Deborah, Sir Justa, Miss Ruby. Hi, everyone. It's great to see all of you. Yeah, part of the virus and the Catholicism lies. You see, the Vatican's had control over the Bible and everything else and teaching everybody that they're looking for a male. And of course, all of the Christian churches are perpetuating the lie. It makes me wonder. I know that there's some really good men of faith out there that are leading some of the churches that know the truth, that actually bother digging, but it's very few. That's what's really sad. Yeah, it is extraordinary fast times right now. Yeah, if you try to convince them that that man, Apollyon, is the Antichrist, they're never going to believe us. Unless they really bother looking. Yeah, you know, thank you. I appreciate your kind words, everyone. I'm working on that. There's a couple of different things, and I believe that there is a possible fail-safe that's been built into the system that may be an answer if I can't come up with others. I'm not going to say what it is because that would give up some information that is kind of like I said, a fail-safe. In the meantime, I'm going to look at, you know, they've been pointing me at the frequencies, and there's some other things I've been looking at. You know, like I said, if you carry those genetics, we're powerful beings. And I think there's a way to hack the system, so to speak. I'm working on that. So, but just in case there is a failsafe, as far as I know. So, the one thing that I want to stress is we do win this one way or another. Period. There is no other option. And I'm not giving up. No way, no how. I'm not going to roll over. Not for the threats, not for the innuendo, disgusting innuendo, I might add, or for anything else. They'll all go right to hell with the rest of them. Anyway, the one thing I want to stress is part of hacking that matrix is keeping yourself out of the don't feed into the negative. Seek that true innocence that's inside of you and live with pure joy and happiness. Dance and sing. Radiate it. I know it's got to help on an interdimensional level because I know the virus absolutely hates that. When you stop feeding a virus, it dies. Keep that in mind, okay? So, and the inner work I've talked about in past videos, definitely keep seeking that. Releasing soul contracts, all that. Hello, Miss Kate. It's wonderful to see you. Anyway, I wanted to do something here. There we go. Okay. I am going to dig into our material tonight because it's awesome. Miss Seeley, it's good to see you. We're gonna do a part 2 on the whole prophecy, the real one. And yeah, gain some real enlightenment away from all the other virus-laid material. Anyway, so I'm going to do the share screen thing and we'll talk about it. Anyway, off to the races. Yay, show and tell time. Okay. Can I get a drink of water before we get started? I'm going to go through the rest of this document we started the other night. It's so fantastic. I was so tickled with some of the things I read live. I was like, oh my gosh. And I didn't read down any further because I was like, I'm going to save my reactions for the stream. Anyway, we left off in this area, so we might kind of overlap a little bit from where we left off. But St. Columba, Egypt, and the Stone of Destiny. Today, Iona is mostly remembered because of St. Columbia, a mystic monk who, in his own right, deserves an entire blog entry dedicated to himself. St. Columbia drove out a rival monastic order, not the indigenous Druids as frequently but wrongly reported. Born into a royal family in line to become king, he instead entered into the priesthood. Legend has it he performed many miracles and had the ability to control the elements. Interesting, so do I. So does my son, and probably many of you. Like I said, we might be able to hack this matrix with our abilities, and I'm working on that. Yeah, we might be able to stop all this craziness. I'm hoping. If not, I've got a fail safe, I think. I think it was built into the system back when we left the planet, is my guess. Anyway, St. Columbia descended from the Egyptian princess Skada, who escaped from Scotland after the overthrow of her father, the pharaoh Akhenaten, aka Amenhotep IV. Irish history says she arrived in the southern part of Ireland with the Stone of Destiny 4,000 to 3,500 years ago. According to Nautilus de Vere, the line of Princess Scotia descended through the Tuatha de Danann. It's interesting. Danaan. My name. You flip those A's upside down and you have my name. Holy friggin', well, as Gabriel puts it, holy poop on a stick. You can't make this crap up, right? Deneen. Just flip those A's over. You just can't make that up. I'm totally freaking out on that. It just dawned on me because I was thinking about because in the codes it was talking about triple vowels and double consonants, and I thought it was talking about somebody else, but I think it was talking about me and my first name. It's like, oh yeah, that's right. I do have triple vowels and double consonants. Totally blows my mind. Tuatha de Danann instead of Deneen. That just tickles me pink, I'm telling you. And no, I'm not talking about the kind of pink that refers to the, what is that, adrenochrome BS. That craziness, I still am going to look a little further into that. Some other people are, which I'm so thankful they are because my time is so stretched already. Anyway, that just blows my mind. Tuatha da Danann. Sorry. I just, wow, blown away. Okay. The Dragon Kings and Queens of Anu. So I think my parents, I'm not positive about this, are Anu and Antu, possibly. I'm not sure because there's other things saying that Gabriel's my dad. I guess I'll find out in the codes or telepathy or something. But yeah, the Dragon Kings and Queens of Anu. That's me. Just totally freaking out. The Egyptian dragon dynasty of Sobek. Oh my gosh. My face is like red hot. Just wow. Okay. The later strain included, you flip the A's upside down, you have my name. I'm just still blown away. Oh my gosh. You know, I found this piece of paperwork, and I'll show it to you guys, showing when my name got changed, which is really wild. But anyway, my grandmother, Mamu, remember I read that thing about Mamu is also a name that pops up with the Anunnaki. Just totally blowing my mind. But yeah. Yeah, wow. Okay. Okay, I'm done being totally overwhelmed by that. Oh, wow. The later strain included the bloodline of the Davidic house of Judah, who married into the Merovingians, kings of the Franks. Her cult of the dragon's breath, cult of the spirit of An or Ankh, right? Skoda is the progenitor of the Irish and Scottish kings, a royal lineage which eventually gave birth to Saint Columba of Iona. Still, wow, I don't know if I can finish the stream after realizing you just flip those A's over upside down. Wow. Okay, wow. I'm gonna get a drink. Wowza. You can't make up the synchronicity going on with me and all this stuff. It's just freaking me out. Recent DNA evidence now gives credence to this story of a royal Egyptian lineage in Scotland. As studies show, Europeans can trace their ancestors back to Egypt through Princess Skoda, or Skada, including myself. Scotland is named after the princess, and you can still visit her small unmarked grave just south of Tralee in County Kerry, beside the Fingalus Rivulet in Trog Han Nakmi. I think I got that right, or close. Irish Glen Scoton, or Glen of the Wee Blossom Princess Skada. Additional supporting evidence, according to Lorraine Evans in her book Kingdom of the Ark, documents the wreckage of 2 Egyptian ships discovered near Hull in 1937 AD. Carbon dating puts them from the period of 1400 BC to 1350 BC. If an Egyptian princess could travel by ship via trade routes to the British Isles 1,000 years prior to the Holy Family, why couldn't Isa or Marie travel by ship via trade routes with Joseph of Arimathea and which is the uncle of Isa, a wealthy tin merchant who had many ties to the British Isles as a supplier for metal for all uses that were shipped from Wales, Ireland, and France to the Middle East. Grail romances depict Joseph of Arimathea as the man who brought the Grail to safety. Was Marie this sacred vessel, the cup of Christ, being an allegory for the womb which carried the children of the Grail? I think we know the answer to that. Yes. Saint Columba, in addition to his ancient ancestor, Princess Skada, has also been associated with the Stone of Destiny. Interesting, because I believe the sitting crown has that stone. A replica of a similar stone resides in the medieval Abbey of Iona. Historians state the monk used the stone as a portable altar and slept upon it every night in order to obtain insights from God. He used it as a coronation chair. This act alone links St. Columba and Iona with the Pendragons and Grail legends. St. Columba consecrates Aidan as first king of Dal Riada, the Proto-Scot Gaelic kingdom. According to Sir Lawrence Gardner, the real King Arthur's father was King Aidan Mac Gabran of Scots, and became Pendragon by virtue of the fact that he was Prince Brychan's grandson. In this line, Aidan's mother, Llewellyn of Brecknock, was descended from Joseph of Arimathea. Some say St. Columba was also responsible for penning the mystical Book of Kells when on the island of Iona, now housed at the Trinity College in Dublin, Ireland. I was able to see the book while in Ireland on my travels. Within the beautifully illustrated Book of Kells, there's a genealogy for the family of Christ, which contradicts the Christian and Catholic versions of his story. No surprise there, right? No surprise there. The real beast, right? There's the genealogy on those pages. I've been looking at the Book of Kells, by the way. The bloodline of Mary Magdalena. Today, Senior Stuart line claims descent from King Arthur's father, King Aidan of Scots, on the one hand, and to Prince Nasine of the Septimanian Mede on the other hand. The Scots descent traces further back through King Lucius of Siluria to Bran the Blessed and Joseph of Armenia, while the Mede succession stems from the Merovingians' male ancestral line through the Fisher kings, priest kings, to Saint Isa and Mary Magdalena. If the Grail is the sacred bloodline, it resided in Iona on multiple occasions. Mary Magdalena was a royal Osmanian princess from the Jewish lineage of Sumer Israel. According to 13th century French chronicler Jacobus d'Avardine, Mari is the blue blood lineage, otherwise known as Rh negative bloodline, a bloodline with a legacy that dates back to the Sumerian history of the Anunnaki. She was also linked to the Benjaminites, a daughter of Cyrus of Magdala, king of the Benjaminite tribe, and Eucharis of Magdala. According to William Henry in his book, Mary Magdalene, the Illuminator, her father's name was Cyrus. Yep, that's the name of one of my pets. And her mother's name, Eucharia. Perhaps part of the reason history has tried to suppress the truth about Mari has to do with her family's tribe, a tribe ostracized because they were the line of Cain. So too was Hiram Abiff, architect of the Temple of Solomon. Legend Aurea Genoma, 1275 AD. Interestingly, the negative Rh strain is a characteristic of the British royal families. And I have some thoughts on this. But I'll save those for later, after some research. Another known characteristic is that the fleur de lis, a symbol not only associated with the union of the legendary King Merovingi with Isa and Marie's descendants, but to Enki in the Sumerian stories, who was represented as the Lord of Waters, holding a three-pronged trident. The fleur de lis is derived from the trident symbolism. Now, what's interesting is Adonai. From what I can gather, he would also be known as the Archangel Michael, also Isa, also Enki. So interestingly, with Gabriel, he's, I believe, Enlil. So we have Gabriel, we've got Enki and Enlil. Yeah, mind blower, right? Trishul of Shiva, Poseidon's trident, Eurasian segment tree of life, and the fleur de lis. The fleur-de-lis or lily symbol has long been associated with Saint Mary Magdalena and Saint Isa. Author of the book Secrets of the Serpent Bloodline, Tao Tia Douglas, a Celtic bishop, claims direct descent from the Grail line. She writes that one can find the clues for these ancient bloodlines within their family crest. There is much confusion about the female line because has been well hidden. Well, I wonder why. They've been trying to bury the females and erase them from the history, period. That's been one of their big goals, is to get rid of all of them. However, names with water in them, mermaid symbols, hearts, stars, shells, chalice, and swans all represent the female line. And despite the disinformation, the fleur-de-lis is to represent purity within both patriarchal and matriarchal lines. Wadsworth family crest and Masonic heirloom. My own family crest of Wadsworth has 3 fleur-de-lis upon it, and it is of European origins. My ancestors on my father's side fled from the oppression of the Catholic Church out of England in 1632. That's interesting because mine fled in 1649. Documented. Migrating to America. The bloodline has migrated to America, you guys. You know, this thought occurred to me that me popping up where I did, right smack dab in the middle of the hellhole, couldn't have picked a better spot, right? Right in the middle of the US. Wow, right? Yeah. The codes keep talking about the Ozarks being the new gate to the Garden of Eden. I believe it's right. I stem from a long line of high-degree Scottish Rite Freemasons, with even my great-grandmothers being initiates of the Order of the Eastern Star. Their symbol is the 5-pointed star. Yep, that's my symbol, the symbol of the goddess. Refers to stories which are inspired by biblical heroines in the Bible. Could my ancestors have been privy to this hidden knowledge regarding the Grail legends? Sadly, if they were, they took the secret to the grave. One treasure passed down to my father, Calvin Wadsworth VI, from his forefather, Calvin Wadsworth II, is a baby ring that I wore as the firstborn to my family until I outgrew it, made of gold with the 32 degree inscribed, adorned with the double-headed eagle phoenix. Yeah, we talked about that. The double-headed, that's the Apollyon thing. Bejeweled with a precious stone in the center, and the Hebrew symbol Yod, the 10th letter of the Hebrew alphabet, residing inside a triangle. Let us attempt to break down some of the important symbolism of this very old family heirloom. According to Manly Pete Hall, a 33rd degree Freemason, the most pronounced symbol is often incorrectly interpreted as a double-headed eagle, when in fact it's a phoenix. Yep. In his own words, the phoenix is said to live for 500 years, and at its death, its body opens and the newborn phoenix emerges. Because of this symbolism, the phoenix is generally regarded as representing immortality and resurrection. The phoenix is one sign of the secret orders of the ancient world and of the initiate to those orders, for it was common to refer to one who had been accepted into the temples as a man twice born or reborn. Wisdom confers a new life, and those who become wise are born again. The phoenix, otherwise known in Egypt as the heron or heronry. Wow, heron. You know, I just recently got a picture of the blue herons in the creek next to me here. They finally, they're very shy. They're hard to photograph. Anyway, or heronry represents the center of our galaxy. Wow. The Mayans called the center of the galaxy the place of herons. The Druids called this center Tula, Tuna, Tua, Tala, Terra, Tau, or To, Tora, Tor, and Tower. The Egyptian heron stands upon the tower. Wow. From the sacredness with which the name Yod was venerated, it was seldom, if ever, written in full. A great many hieroglyphs were invented to express it. One of these was the letter or Yod, equivalent nearly to the English I or J or Y, which was the initial of the word, and it was often inscribed within the equilateral triangle. Thus, the triangle itself is a symbol of deity. The symbol of the name of God not only is a triangle to be found in many of the ancient religions occupy the same position, but the whole symbol itself is undoubtedly the origin of that hieroglyphic exhibited in the second degree of masonry, where the explanation of the symbolism is the same. Thus, the ineffable name itself is said to have been preserved in its true pronunciation by the Essenes. And my journey took me to the Essenes, who, in their secret rites, communicated to each other only in a whisper while its component parts were known. They were so separated as to make the whole world a mystery. Among the Egyptians, whose connection with the Hebrews was more immediate than that of any other people, there was a greater similarity of rites. The same sacred name is said to have been used as a password for the purpose of gaining admission to their greater mysteries. The bloodline of Saint Isa, and I'm not going to call him Jesus, because the one that's going to be called Jesus is Apollyon. And that's what they have everybody praying to. Isa was a royal divinic prince. I'll call him Adonai. I'll call him Demuzid. I'll call him Isa, but I'm not going to call him Jesus, because that's what everybody's looking for. Isa was a royal divinic prince from the Jewish lineage of Egypt, Judah, descendant of King David, who himself descends from Seth, the third child born to Adam and Eve after the murder of Abel by his brother Cain. 2,000 years ago, any marriage between the tribe of Egypt, Judah, Isa's tribe, with the tribe of Sumer, Israel, Mary's tribe, would have upset both lineages of the Orthodox Jews. Wow. You know, I saved a picture the other day of the 12 tribes, several of them, including who they're connected to, what part of the world they're in now. There's I think I put a link to a video. I have a playlist in my channel that's called The Big Picture, and I think I put it in there. You guys should, if you can, keep an eye on my playlist, because I add things to that frequently, and that was something that I added about those tribes and who they are, where they're at. They have all been found. They're not lost. The prophecy of the Bible stuff is unraveling because of it. Yeah. Anyway. So, yeah. So this marriage upset them. That's why they hide it. That's why they hide who she was. Wow. Okay. Good to know. So that means that the Vatican and the Zionist of the, yeah. No wonder the Israeli Jewish population condemns the Zionist Jews that are holding and living in Israel right now. I don't know if you guys are aware of that, but that is a thing. And the whole thing with the protocols of the learned elders of Zion. Yeah, I should do a thing on that again. Anyway, this ancient family rivalry, dating all the way back to the days of Adam and Eve, continues to this day. At the time, the Roman Empire feared the marriage between Isa and Mari would unite the northern Sumer Israel, which I know that to be where, yeah, temples were there. I remember that much. And the southern Egypt, Judah portions of the former kingdom of David, aka Thoth Moses. Remember what I said? That one guy, if he's indeed Moses incarnate, he's got some explaining to do. Really not kidding. He's got some explaining to do. Anyway, yeah. AKA Thoth Moses. Wow. In order to prevent this information from getting out, ancient Jewish historical records were burned by Roman soldiers, ultimately leading to the burning of the Library of Alexandria by the Roman Empire in the 4th century. The library contained millions of documents and scrolls, some of which were written by Thoth Hermes Trismegistus, along with the great pharaohs known as Moses the First, Thoth Moses the Third, aka David, and Amenhotep the Third, aka Solomon. You see, these were royal titles given, not literary names. The ancient Jewish outrage over Mari and Isa's marriage led to hostility against their children in the same way the Orthodox Egyptians disapproved of the marriage between Pharaoh Amenhotep III of his Sumer Israel's second wife, Tai, who was the daughter of Joseph, a Hyksos prince from Megiddo, also known as the wearer of the biblical coat of many colors. They disapproved so much so that they decreed by law any half-breed child of the Pharaoh of Egypt be immediately killed upon birth. Thus, upon birth, Tai and her midwives sent her son downstream in a reed basket to her Sumer Israel relatives. That explains some things. You know what's interesting, and it's in my music playlist, is the group Enigma. And it actually has a song called Rivers of Belief that is probably directly relating to this. Just FYI. Definitely visit that music playlist, especially the song Kyrie Eleison, Kyrie by Mr. Mister. Because it's sung in 396, which that frequency evidently is very important. Suppression of Mari and the sacred marriage. It was the 6th century BC, while being held for 70 years in captivity after being conquered by Nebuchadnezzar and the Babylonians, Iraqis, that a group of rich Jewish men wrote down the Old Testament. These wealthy politicians and merchants rewrote history in order to unite two different lineages of Jewish, Sumer, Israel, and Egypt, Judah peoples into one Hebrew race, the chosen people, in order to overthrow the Iraqis who had imprisoned them in Babylon. Originally, the Hebrew word for God, Yahweh, was translated into English as Jehovah and represented as YHWH. I actually said that right. But again, the thing I always tell you guys, ask why. There's Y backwards. The Y is L, Father God. The first H is Asher, Mother Goddess, the heaven. Or the W is He, the Son, King of Heaven. And the second H is Aneth, the daughter, Queen of Heaven. Always ask why. When you're asking why, you're talking to the gods, okay? So if you do meditate or pray and you're asking why, you know who you're addressing. That is so funny. That still tickles me pink. The good kind of pink, Gabriel pink. Prior to the 6th century and the writing of the Old Testament, Jewish people worshipped Asher. Remember I said something about that I believed I was from the tribe of Asher? Yeah, Asher. And that was months ago in a video way back when I was researching the tribes. I was like, I think I'm from the tribe of Asher. But I think something has to do with something with the tribe of Judah too. I was right. My instinct, my gut, inner self was right. That's so funny. Asher as the mother aspect of God and El as the father aspect of God. Together they are the divine couple of sacred union. Bingo, bango. I was right. Holy cow. I'm so excited about that. So I got some things right. I get some things wrong, but oh my gosh. On some really key points, I get some stuff right. Totally by freakish accident. Just using gut instinct, In this way, a relatively small group of wealthy men abolished the mother aspect of God when writing the Old Testimony. I say testimony because it's not a testament, if you ask me. Or me. Ding, 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 ding. I love this person that wrote this article. The divine family of 4 in 1 was simply condensed to a single male God, and the rest of his story. The word Elohim has also been misinterpreted as a single male god, when in fact this is the plural form of the word and can represent both gods and goddesses, which is First Chronicles 22:19. Now set your heart and your soul to seek Yahweh or Elohim. With this new perspective, one could say this biblical verse should go something more like this. Now set your heart and your soul to seek the divine family, sacred union. You are gods and goddesses. Yes! Hallelujah. Kyrie eleison. I love this so much. I'm so tickled about this. Thank you, Miss Deb. She sent me this, and I'm just so absolutely tickled, just ecstatic about this whole thing. Yeah. Wow, right? I'm going to look at the chat and see how you guys are doing. We're not done with this, though. Oh, Miss Raven, hi. It's good to see you. Your son's middle name is Asher. See what I mean, you guys? All these synchronicities. You guys know you're part of the family. There's no way around it. I see the comments during the streams or sometimes afterwards, and I'm like, yep, you guys are part of the family. And it tickles me to no end to read the comments when I see the interesting synchronicities that you all have going on with this whole thing too. It's like, yes, we're going to win this. You guys know it. I might cry and be driven to tears because I worry about the souls on the planet. But overall, I'm absolutely full of joy because we're all finding each other. It's so amazing. It's like, yes. Yeah, the synchronicity is freakish. That Dannon, turn those A's upside down. You have my name. That's so wild. Still just so blown away, which is the dragon family, right? Wowza. Totally, yeah. Still blown away by that. I was just so tickled. Anyway, I'm glad you guys are enjoying this. I know I am. Yeah. Beautiful picture. Telling the truth. You see that one? Look what he's doing. He's pointing up. Just like the singer in the Mr. video, he does that real quick point up and then he looks up and then the word Mr. comes across. And you know what Mr. means? It means Lord, Adonai, add-on. Tickles me to no end. Yeah, the symbolism, right? Wowza. Yeah, still blown away. I'm so excited about what I found there. That's just, yeah. When the Catholics in 325 AD, led by the Roman Emperor Constantine, organized the First Council of Nicaea, they too wanted to suppress any notion that Saint Isa was married and bore children with Mari in order to maintain control over Christians and Christianity. The Catholics wanted to name the rulers, not the bloodline of Isa, and tried very hard to remove all evidence of their bloodline. However, they've forgotten their own history and let the clues remain, even in the New Testimony. One very important fact, it was the Divinic law since the time of David that all Divinic heirs must be married by law in order to continue the bloodline. St. Isa was a direct descendant of Abram and David, which required him to be married and sire at least 2 sons, or else he could not become king. In my previous article, Secrets Discovered in Stained Glass, I postulate that Mari and Isa had a total of 3 children. That's interesting. That's how many children I have. 2 girls and a boy. John Martinus, being the last heir born unto the Holy Family. Wow. Did they have 2 girls and then the boy John? Wow. Wow, 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 wow. Because I think that's how it went. Wow. Okay. I had a confirmation from above my head. Yeah, they do that. They'll do little things to get my attention. I got a confirmation. Okay. You guys heard that, I hope. That pop sound right above my head. Yeah, that happens. In Matthew 26, 6-7, and Mark 14:3, Mary of Bethany, who poured a precious box full of spikenard over his head, anointed Jesus. The Old Testament, the Song of Solomon, identifies the potion symbolic of espousal of being spikenard, whatever it is. In John 11, 1-2, John explains how the ritual of anointing Jesus's feet was performed yet again by the same woman of Bethany. Mary took a pound of spikenard, very costly, and anointed the feet of Jesus and wiped his feet with her hair, and the house was full with the odor of the ointment. John 12:3. Wow, right? Wow. Wow, wow. Freaky. No wonder, yeah, the long hair is a thing. The same actions explained in the Song of Solomon from the Old Testament alludes to the ancient rite of Hieros Gamos, by which the royal bride prepared her bridegroom's table, further validating the secrets I discovered in stained glass regarding the ancient origins of the Eucharist and the deeper meaning behind this tradition. To perform the rite with spikenard was the express privilege of a messianic bride and was performed solely at the first marriage and second marriage ceremonies. Only as the full wife of Isa and as high priestess of Ishtar in her own right could Mari have anointed both his head and feet with the sacred ointment. Yeah. Wild, right? Some pictures, some pretty pictures. You guys want to see them? Well, they're not as big that way. They're bigger looking at them here. Wild. Huh. When the Catholics were deciding what to remove from the Gospels, oh, here we go. Here we go. Part of the tampering. They're not the only ones to do the tampering, though. And I plan to do a stream specifically geared at that. Interesting. Somebody that's close to me had a dream about this particular individual, Marduk. Anyway, who I also think killed Tammuz, if the history has the names right. Anyway, that being. Okay. When the Catholics were deciding what to remove from the Gospels in order to hide the fact that Isa was married, they forgot the most important facts of Jewish customs. It's easy to conclude that a pregnant Mary Magdalena would have fled at the first opportunity from the types of persecution she must have been facing, and Joseph of Arimathea would have had the means to help her escape. A prosperous tin merchant who brought his nephew Isa to places like Glastonbury in England, India, and Asia during his youth and so-called missing years, allowing him to study with the Druids, yogis, Brahmins, and monks, eventually bringing him back the teachings as an adult and reinterpreting them to his people. Saint Isa taught Shabad yoga. It's like I keep telling you guys, yoga is not evil. Christians are running around going, that's evil. It's not evil. It's like, you bunch of fraidy cats. You live in fear because that God of the Bible that keeps telling you to fear me. Yeah, the bad guy, Apollyon. Yeah, that. Yoga's fine. Do some yoga. Relax. Chill out a little bit. And should be known as a perfect living master in both the Druidic, Egyptian, and Oriental traditions. The Tao Ching. Yes, you go, Miss Tamu. Very, very lovely person I spend my mornings with. Tamu Ngina, Priestess Heart 108. Check out her channel. It's a good way to get some Zen started in your day. She's also a goddess, FYI. Do check her out. The ancient cultures all have their own historical records of a man fitting the description of Jesus arriving on their shores to learn and teach. Jesus is known as Yeshua of Tibet, India, and Greece. Christ or Christos in Greek. In Tibet, there is a Saint Isa. In Gaelic, it's Ausa. In Aramaic, it's Isa. In Cornwall and Wales, it's spelled Isa. Also, Inky.
if you want to look at the Sumerian, at least from what I can gather, tracking things down. Anyway, the missing years. During the time of Christ, the British Isles possessed the largest number of universities, totaling 60, with 60,000 students under instruction. It was a mecca of spiritual pilgrims, mystics, and philosophers. The elite of the Western world traveled to the British Isles, and likewise religious scholars from Egypt, Spain, Palestine, and Scotland all met to exchange ideas. Egyptian Essenes had a working relationship with the British Druid Magi. Like I said, I had a big affinity with the Druids, huge, because they manipulate elements. So do I. Yeah. And it's known that Isa was connected to Qumran and the Essenes, who discovered the torch of illumination that the followers of Akhenaten hid after his reign. Some Druids, such as those in Fortingall, Scotland, had a sister school on Mount Carmel, Palestine, and were therefore linked spiritually and culturally. Even monks from Tibet visited the British Isles and vice versa. And this is Joseph and the boy Isa. I'm not going to call him Jesus, I refuse. Sail up the Brue River in Glastonbury from the banner of the parish church of Pilton, 6 miles east of Glastonbury. That's what this picture is. Wild. And an inquisitive young Isa traveled with his uncle Joseph of Arimathea to the British Isles, as well as other continents during the missing years, as legends claim. He would have undoubtedly been interested in studying amongst the many different schools of thought. Henry Jenner, and the old chief bard of Cornwall, writes of such an account for the Benedictine journal Pax in 1916, describing metal workers as a very old fraternity, with the saying, Joseph was in the tin trade, which reflects their tradition. No wonder that altar is supposed to have tin. Okay. Yeah, I've been looking at the design of an altar. I got led to it one day and somebody else had a dream about an altar they were supposed to make. It's so funny. The synchronicity is just freakish, because now I'm reading this and that particular altar has tin on it. Now I know why. That's amazing. Definitely going to have to make this altar. And it has some of the sigils, my sigil, Gabriel's sigil, Adonai's sigil, and all that goes on this altar. And yeah, I'm doing it. There's no doubt now. It's all adding up. Anyway, which reflects their tradition. Joseph made his money as a tin merchant and also once bought the child Christ and his mother and landed them at St. Michael's Mount. Few people know that England's de facto national anthem, Jerusalem, is based on this very question. Here is the first stanza speaking of Isa, the Lamb of God. If it says this word, I refuse. I'm just not saying it anymore. I'm done. Because that's the Antichrist. And did those feet in ancient time walk upon England's mountains green, and was the Holy Lamb of God on England's pleasant pastures seen? According to Barry Dunford, at the English College of Arms, the heraldry office at Isa College, I'm renaming the college, clearly shows the grandmother of Isa and her links to various kings of the British royal family. It's very possible that the stories of St. Isa on the British Isles, amongst other exotic lands which housed centers of spiritual learning, are all rooted in historical truths. The great-grandparents of Isa were born and lived in the area of Fortingall, Scotland, where one of the first mother churches is believed to have been located. I guess I could just say Adonai because that's what he goes by. His grandparents, Joachim and Anna, wow, here we go with the Anne thing again, moved to Galilee, but the rest of the family remained in Scotland. Anna wasn't Jewish, but both Celtic and Hebrew royal lineages. Wild. More pictures. Yay. Love the pictures. This one right here was interesting because you see Gabriel and Adonai up here flying angels. And yeah. There's Mary Magdalene right there. Wonder if this is Joseph of Arimathea. Don't know. Can't tell who's who exactly. There's someone laying here on is like an iceberg and someone on a boat with their hand out to him. I don't know if that's supposed to represent Mari or what's going on there. But there's some interesting things in this painting. I probably should save a copy and zoom in on it to see if I can pick up what all's going on. Because you can see like a ship here that looks Egyptian in the background. That's almost like a you know how on photographs, like a ghost image on a photograph? Yeah. There's like ghost images in here of stuff, which is really interesting. Clues to the secret, right? They're hidden in a lot of these pictures. Something in the sky here, right? What's this? You know, Gabriel's sigil has this little moon thing going on too. Anyway, yeah. Fascinating. Okay, Mary Magdalene the refugee. Cardinal Baroness, curator of the Vatican Library, gives an account of a vessel drifting into Marseilles, carrying the Holy Family. Marseilles? One of the largest ancient ports of its time in France, providing safe passage for refugees fleeing the Holy Land. It's recorded that they had a short stay in Gaul before going to Glastonbury in England. The complete list of passengers noted by Boranius is as follows: Saint Mary, wife of Cleopas, Saint Martha, Saint Lazarus, Saint Eutropius, Saint Solomon, Saint Cleon, Saint Saturnus, Saint Mary Magdalena, Marcella, the Bethany's sister's maid, Saint Maxima, Saint Martial, Saint Martial, Saint Trophimus, Saint Sidonus, which is Restitutus, and Saint Joseph of Arimathea. Wow. It's also recorded that Philip was waiting for the travelers in France. There is a wealth of uncontroversial accounts asserting his commission in Gaul, all of which alike state that he received and consecrated Joseph of Arimathea, appointing him as the apostle of Britain. Among the sacred texts of the Hebrew Bible, deep in the book of the prophet Micah, is an obscure passage addressing the bereaved bride. The prophet describes the fate of Mary in just a few lines as she is seen mourning the death of her counselor and beloved king. As for you, O Magdala Magdalurder, I don't know. Watchtower of the flock, stronghold of the daughter of Zion. Until and unto you shall the former dominion be restored, the kingdom of daughter Jerusalem. Now why are you crying? Have you no king? Has your counselor perished, that you are seized with the pains like a woman in labor? For now shall you go forth from the city and dwell in the open fields. To Babylon shall you go, and from there you shall be rescued. Now also many nations are gathered against you that say, let her be declared unclean. Yeah, I just got done being called a whore not very many days ago. So I know the feeling. Yeah. Ah, that whole ecstasy thing is real. It's a thing. The woman that wrote this article experienced something very similar, described it very similar. And anybody that looks at it in a negative light, carry a lisan on your soul. No joke. Because if you continue, you will lose it. Let her be declared unclean. How dare they? The prophet Micah tells her to go to Babylon where she will be rescued. Curiously, Europe has been described as the modern day Babylon. The European Parliament in Strasbourg, France, was modeled on a painting done in 1563 of the Tower of Babel by Peter Bruegel, something like that. This building is commonly referred to as the Tower of Eurobabel. The Celtic knot in the Book of the Kells, known to have been written by St. Columba on the Isle of Iona, is believed to be an ornamental cross of the same symbol found in the ruins of Babylon that predates the Book of Kells by 2,000 years. Mary Magdalena and the Royal House of Orange. There are accounts that also connect Mari to the Royal House of Orange in a city called Tarascon, just south of the city of Orange in France. Synchronistically, I too have lived in the city of Orange within the county of Orange in Southern California my entire life. And the city called Tarascon depicts my first name. In a dream I described in my previous article, The Secrets in Stained Glass, I revealed that I saw a woman cloaked in a crimson orange robe. The symbolism is undeniable and remarkable. The more I dive into the Grail legends, the more I feel I'm being called to a personal level to unveil these greater mysteries. I have got to meet this woman. I really do. I've got to meet her. She's one of us, no doubt about it, with all the things she said and talked about. Definitely one of us. The first prince we know of was the 8th century Guillaume d'Orange. He had Judaic origins and a Judaic aristocracy. In the well-known book Holy Blood, Holy Grail, the authors Michael Bagent, Richard Lay, and Henry Lincoln tried to link him directly to the bloodline of Isa through the line of the Merovingian kings. His sister became Queen of Franks. I'm related to all these people too. The family name Guillaume meant guide or navigator and was changed to Gilholm when Wilhelm, and eventually to the English William. Okay. William III of Orange became King of England, and after winning the religious wars of the Catholic Church, he introduced the Orange Reformation, and the Age of Reason was the result. Everything we have today can be attributed to the winning of the war. Their combined royal coat of arms depict both the symbol of the lion and the unicorn. You know, the unicorn and the lion thing has been coming up in the codes all over the place, calling me a lioness, holy lioness. Both symbols of the holy bloodline families. The unicorn has a patriarchal symbol for the Grail line representing Mari, the unicorn, who is chained, but the chains have been broken. In the Old Testament Song of Solomon and in Psalms of David, the fertile unicorn is associated with the kingly line of Judah. And it was see, I was right. It's Asher and Judah. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. My inner gut instincts was going on there. And it was for this very reason that the Cathars of Provence used the magical beast to symbolize the Grail bloodline. The lion representing Isa is crowned, and a rose resides next to him. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. The crown represents those who have reached Kether illumination. There is a fleur-de-lis and a harp on the shield, all the symbols of the serpent dragon bloodlines. Wowza. Holy cow. Wowza. Every year, the French people celebrate the arrival of Mari and Lazarus on February 2nd. Oh, that's Groundhog Day. My birthday is February the 1st. Right? Wowza. And Lazarus. Every year, the French people celebrate the arrival of Marie and Lazarus on February 2nd. Wow. In 950 AD, Ravenous Maurus, the bishop of Mayence, wrote how Martha converted the people of Tarascon and that she lived until her death around 68 AD in a prayer house constructed on a site where now a church stands. Excavations were carried out there in 1187, and bones believed to have been those of Martha were found. Relics of Lazarus were also uncovered in 1146, which are currently in the crypt of Saint Victor in Marilis? I don't know. Pilgrims began to visit there in the 13th century, and local feasts were declared by King Rene in 1435, which will continue to this day around June 24th. Yep, even my birthday has a freak thing going on. Man of Sorrows, William Dice. Wow. Mary Magdalene's presence on Iona. There are claims that even the body of Mary Magdalene resides somewhere on the Isle of Iona. According to Christine Hartley, again in her classic work, The Western Mystery Tradition, there is a legend too that Mary Magdalena lies buried in Iona. Hartley further says, wandering the hills of Scotland, she came to Knoydart. Knoydart is a peninsula located on the west coast of Scotland, adjacent to the Isle of Skye, Isle of Isa. Some 10 miles or so south of Knoydart can be found another west coast peninsula named Moydart, where in old maps is given the place name Essa Hill, yeah, which may relate to the presence of Isa there. During the 1st century AD, Isa was known in the Egyptian Christian Coptic Church as Isa, which is the phonetic pronunciation of Isa. Interesting. So Isa, Inky? It is intriguing to note that legends and place names appear to link both Saint Isa, we'll say Isa, and Saint Mary Magdalena to the Scottish Hebraean Western Isles. It is likely that Christine Hartley's source for the intriguing legend was the Scottish writer William Sharp, who, in his essay on Iona, claims a Tyrie man whom I met some time ago on the boat that was taking us both to the west, told me there's a story that Mary Magdalena lies in a cave on Iona. Wow. I wonder what would happen if I went there, because there's ley lines there and stuff. Huh. That could be quite interesting if I actually put my feet on the ground there. Huh. In Mingule, one of the South Isles of the Hebrides in South Uist, and in Iona, there is practically identical tale told with striking variations. This would suggest there was an oral tradition current among the Western Isles of Scotland, which placed Mary Magdalena there. For many years in ancient times, the tired bones of a number of royal families were buried at the Railing Odran, I don't know, St. Owen's shrine, just beside the monastery on Iona. It is a sign of the ancient sanctity associated with Iona that royals, chieftains, and families of high birth from so far and wide were brought here to be buried. Wow. Here's a map of the island. Hmm. Wonder how far that Viking island is from this island, because I had a vision of this place, and I did it on one of my streams back. I don't know, it's been a couple of months now, probably. I wonder how far it is from this, because that would tie me to this island if that island is close by. And a vision. That would mean, yeah, but that vision, because that was built, shoot, I'm going to have to look at that. I'm going to have to look at that, because I had a vision of this place, and the date it was built would put it, I don't know. I know the Vikings went through and trashed it and this island, and I bet they're not far apart. What was the name of that island? Why am I drawing a blank? Just connecting dots here, okay, guys, with some of the weird visions and stuff and memories that I've had. Okay. Conclusion. One could say that the prophecy of Iona has already come to pass. Mari has returned into the consciousness of mankind. She is being redeemed from the lies of being nothing but a repentant sinner and prostitute. That sounds familiar. And returned to her rightful place as the equal counterpart and the beloved bride of Saint Isa, the sacred vessel and mother of their children, a great and wise leader herself, a high priestess of ancient orders, which included the veneration of a mother goddess, the apostle of all apostles. A new awakening is taking place, a resurfacing of ancient truths, an inner alchemy, a merging of divine feminine and sacred masculine that religious dogma and societal conditioning has enshrouded for centuries. A divine union relationship is a co-creative partnership of equality. To experience divine union in all its power and beauty is to participate in the dance of creation. The child of cosmic birth is referred to in alchemy as the true self, and it is created from the union known as the sacred marriage of dualities, both within and without. the historical story that has been hidden from us about Saint Isa and Saint Mary is one of sacred union. Mary Magdalena and Isa are alive and well within all of us. Yeah, they are. And it's very likely they're kin that survive to this day in secrecy. Yep. This sort of family secret never stays buried forever. And it's also likely that some of their relatives may know or suspect who they are. Perhaps they are just patiently waiting for the right time to come forward, when the world will no longer demonize them for exposing the truth of their origins. Well, I've already been demonized by people that have no business doing that. There's a price to pay for doing things like that. Anyway, fantastic, right? Wow, wow, wow. I'm still blown away about my name. You flip those A's over and you have my name. Holy moly. And my birthday and all the other weirdness that goes on with me. Oh, looky there. I really probably should go there. I really should. There's ley lines there. There's something important to do with that, I have a feeling. Wow, right? St. John's Cross. Wow. I'm so blown away and tickled all at the same time because I keep finding more and more weird synchronicities and more. I need to visit this island, like, I don't know, really soon. I have sometime soon, I hope. Oh, and there's the lovely face of the woman that wrote this. She reminds me of Miss Tawny, her face, that radiating, yeah, Miss Tawny. She's an angel, no doubt about it. Somebody that I met early on in this journey, and that face reminds me of hers as far as the light radiating from it. Cows doing bad things in the background. But yep, that reminds me of her a lot. I don't know what it is, but she's definitely the gal that did this article. She's one of us. I'm gonna have to contact her. I'm so thrilled. This is amazing. Look at it. It's just beautiful. I need to go there like yesterday. Oh, look at the sheep. It's so cute. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm so blown away by all this. It's like, wow. I'm gonna look at the chat. Crazy, right? Oh, yeah. Just sitting here giggling and blown away. I'm just amazed. Yeah. Wow. I'm gonna look at the chat, see how you guys are doing. Say hi to everybody. Oh, I gotta do one more there. There we go. I nailed you, Miss Seeley. If any of you guys, Miss Deborah or Miss Seeley, if you don't want to be a moderator, let me know, okay? You guys have been around a while. Definitely. Yeah. You think I should definitely go to Iona? I think I should. Maybe it would rattle some of these memories loose. I got today was a weird day, and I did go and try to do a little of the regression, and I got just a little piece. I saw my bare feet on some stone, and I was thinking to myself, the cool stone felt good on my feet because it was really hot out. But that's all I got. That's it. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna read through not all the chat. I'll catch up with the rest of the chat after the stream. But I'll read through the last few. Yeah, Miss Seeley, I know, girl, the things you say. are definitely one of us. No doubt about it. Yeah. The Pendragons, right? Yep. Your son's name. Yeah, you're having all those weird synchronicities too. It's really wild, isn't it? Yeah, you chose it because it's Scottish. Yeah, I love that name. Aiden. Yeah, love that name. You guys are so awesome. The current Duke of Argyll. Okay. Is also named Aiden. That's cool. So your grandparents were Freemasons, Eastern Star. Okay, cool. Your son, oh, Miss Raven, your son's middle name is Asher. Yep. We, the names I named my animals and all the weirdness connected with iron and Arcadia, and I've got an ash cave down here to the south that I'm going to be visiting in May. I'm going to visit Arcadia, Missouri in May. So I have a field trip. I'm bringing a friend along. We will do video, I promise, so you guys can see what we find. Because it came up in the codes about this Star City and yeah. There, like I said, my life, it feels like it's been completely choreographed right down to where I'm living right now. Something to do with this cave down south of me. But and it's located in a place called Star City, which isn't a place. And when I looked up Star City and looked down, there's a cave right there, and it's called Ash Cave. You can't make this stuff up. Gabriel told me about it in the codes, and I found it. Field trip, bank on it. Yeah, it's really weird, right? Flip those A's upside down and you get my name. And my grandmother, Mamu, was the one that had the fit about my name and wanted it changed. I think she was afraid that my name was too obvious, the first name. So changing it to Deneen and flipping she knew. Her name, we called her Mamu. She knew. She knew who I was. I'm just certain of it. She was full-blooded Rosebud Sioux. She knew who I was. I'm just certain of it. Kind of freaks me out. Mm. Yeah, I'm not using the name Jesus because the Apollyon is called Jesus, okay? So I refuse to use that anymore. Just not doing it because it's calling upon Apollyon when you use that name. That's why in the paranormal, when people are calling on Jesus, that's why everything in the area freaks out. It's not just the bad ones, the good ones freak out too. And it's something I saw over and over again. So if you're calling that name, you're not calling on Isa, Isa, Adonai, Tammuz, Tammuzid, and his other names, Michael, Archangel Michael, right? Wow. Totally blown away by all of it. I love you guys so much. You have no idea. Well, maybe you do. You see how much I cry over the souls on this planet. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm so overwhelmed, because waking them up. Wowza. it's a dangerous thing too, this whole religion thing. You just look at something like the Da Vinci Code and all the craziness going on in that movie. That's no joke. These people are not nice. So what I'm doing is very dangerous. Let's see. Do you ever test the owl's intentions with the spirit of love? That depends on, as far as testing Gabriel and Adonai, I never really tested Gabriel until he introduced me to Adonai. And I was like, okay, a new one? What's going on with this? You know? And it made me kind of not trust him for a while. And I don't know why. I guess um because it just been him and I for all these years, and then Adonai walks into the picture and I'm like, what? Yeah. So as far as testing them, yeah, I test them. I test them all the time. I'm also a major pain in their ass because, yeah. And the code the other day said something about our communication. Yeah. Not being the greatest because of my telepathy, not using it all those years, or very little anyway. Yeah. Yeah, they get tested, trust me. Um, and I keep hanging in there for them, and they keep hanging in there for me, and yeah, I test them, trust me, ridiculously a lot. And it took them, what was it, over a year to get me to actually do the videos. A lot of prodding and convincing going on, telepathy wise. Yeah. And dreams. Uther Pin Dragon. That's so awesome, Miss Seeley. Oh my gosh, that's so awesome. He's 16. Oh, aren't they awesome? Mine, he's 19 and off to college. I really kind of kept my mission kind of low level while he was still home. Once he went off to college, I've been going at it pretty hard. But they're wonderful at that age. So amazing. He's turning into quite the man right before my eyes. It's amazing. Anyway, I've got a stream that I want to do about specifically Rosalind Chapel. I'm definitely going to go back and look at that vision of that island that I saw and see if it's near Iona, because if it is, then that puts me there with my memories, which that would be huge for me, a huge confirmation. So I'll look at that. I'm also going to do a stream specifically geared at the tampering and where it started. And it's not just the Vatican, but the Vatican's very tied to this being, whatever his name might be. But Marduk. Anyway, I love you guys. You know, I'll pass those stars up there. Up there. You know how the guy in the Mr. video, he goes, he does that. He's so cute. His personality reminds me of Gabriel so much that, yeah, he cuts up and wants to have a good time. That's Gabriel. When he's being relaxed in himself. If he's mad, yeah, it's a whole different person. It's kind of like me. You flip the switch. Uh-oh. Don't flip the switch. But anyway, yeah. But yeah, out past those stars and back. More times than my entire planet could ever count, even if they all tried at the same time. Hope you guys have a brilliant night. And yeah, I'll probably be doing several streams this week. And I have code streams. Some freaky stuff. Like last night, I had a shooting star go right over my head. No joke, right over my head, traveling from the south heading north. And as it got over my head, it split into two. And then it did this flash and it looked like lightning. And it wasn't just, yeah. You know how when Russia had that big meteor come in, or supposed meteor or whatever that was going on there, it reminded me of that, but it was red. This was what I had was red, and it did that same flash, but I swear I saw lightning along with that flash. It was really amazing. And that was last night, and I got 2 codes directly after that, like directly, and the codes were talking about that. And it's so wild. These codes, there's no way you can make that up. How is what just happened coming up in the code that I get at the same time? Yeah. It's like I said, even right down to where I live is like scripted. It's freaky. We're going to hack this matrix and we're going to fix what's wrong down here one way or another. Anyway, remember, sing, dance, joy, do your inner work, soul revocations, so they don't get a hold of your soul. That's the last thing I'd want to see happen to you guys. Because them and their sneaky, slimy contracts. Yeah. Not cool. And, radiate that joy out to the world because it hacks the matrix and it starves the virus because you're not feeding them anger or fear. Okay. So have a brilliant Wednesday, hump day coming up. Okay. And I'll do probably several streams this week. I got so much planned. Anyway, take care, and I will see you all soon. Bye for now.